Hey everyone, welcome back to another Tic Tac Taiko. You know, it's been a while since I've done a quick and dirty drill, and that's what we're gonna do this week. I call it the 5-hit pop. So if you can play 5 notes in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can do this week's drill. But before I get into the drill, I would love it if you could give me a thumbs up. Hitting that like button does me a world of good. And if you haven't hit subscribe yet, now is as good a time as any. It makes you a better person. There are 2 levels to this drill. Level 1 is literally just playing 5 notes in a row, like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What you're gonna focus on here is even dynamics. You're not worried about speed, you're not worried about volume. The volume is gonna be about, let's say, moderately quiet, or even, but you're not going for really loud, and you're not going for super quiet. Moderately quiet. Tempo-wise, you want to get to the point where you're just below what you'd be struggling with. So let's say your comfort zone. I'm going to start slow. I'm going to build it to what my comfort zone is and hold it there just for a little bit. When you do this, you don't have to get to that tempo and you don't have to get to your maximum tempo that quickly. And what I really want you to focus on is listening for even dynamics. Be really, really honest with yourself. And if you can't tell if they're even, then slow it down, because sometimes the speed can mask where your dynamics actually are. So there's nothing wrong with playing slow for a while. And making sure each note is just as loud or as soft as the note before it. One thing I see people doing when I teach a drill like this is that they'll raise their bachi up and they'll almost attack it. You don't want to come in from above. You don't want to raise your bachi any higher than any other strike. So you start here and you end here. Somewhere around there, but you notice bachi are the same height through the whole drill. Another thing a lot of people struggle with is knowing, was that 5 or 4 or 6 notes? I'm not really sure, especially when you're playing it at speed. Wait, how many was that? You can't count it. So know that the hand you start with is the hand you end with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you end up on the other hand, odds are you hit a 4 or a 6. Level 1 is just that, and it might seem like, okay, big deal, why do I care? Because we're providing a foundation for level 2. Level 2 is exactly the same, except the last note has an accent, hence the name, 5-hit pop. The pop is your last note. So to do it slowly, it would look and sound like this. Not a huge difference, but that last note, that is a big difference. And just like level 1, you want to start out nice and slow, focus on dynamics. Make sure the first 4 notes are even, and then get that loud note at the end. Loud is relative. You want it louder, not maximum volume, just louder so that you know you have a difference. We'll worry about the actual range of dynamics later. So if it starts off like this, that's fine. It doesn't have to start out. You're not trying to kill anything, you're just trying to make a louder note at the end. So I'll do the drill, I'll start slow, I'll focus on dynamics, and I'll work up to a speed that's just under struggling. Another thing, make sure you let your other hand, I would say for most our left hands, get a turn for level 1 and level 2. Okay, you've got the drill, but we're not quite done yet. You've got your level 1 and your level 2. What do you do with this? First, no matter which level you're doing, remember the most important part is that even dynamic for the first 4 notes of level 2 or all 5 notes in level 1. If you're not sure if you're even or not, slow it down. Look at your bachi tips. You can see how high they're coming. If one is coming up higher, you're probably playing louder than the others. And you have to be really honest with yourself. You can't just go, yeah, that thing is okay. I'm going to go with that. No, break it down. Make sure it really is okay, because there's no one to tell you that it's not. Another thing that I really recommend is alternating sometimes between the 2 and the 1. So you can go level 2, level 1, level 2, level 1, or 2, 2, 1, 1. Something like this. Doesn't really matter what order you do it in, but by alternating between the 2, you're keeping your brain active. You're really keeping yourself listening, not just to the pop at the end, but to both. Try it, you'll see what I mean. And finally, let's talk about what's actually happening with that accent. You'll find if you lift your bachi up high, you're gonna come down and make a noise that's louder than the other 4 notes. You don't need to add artificial force into that last hit. So in other words, if I go really, really slow and I exaggerate, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just bringing it from here is going to be louder. So by flicking it back and forcing yourself to flick it forward, you're going to be louder. So you don't have to add a lot of extra force. It's a little uneven, so I want to work on that, but that's all the force I'm going to need. Later, when you do get comfortable, then you can choose to squeeze harder. You can choose to pulse the flex and the biceps and get that extra bit of oomph. You can choose to throw the hand down, whatever works for you. You could experiment, but the idea is just get the bachi higher to get a louder note. I'll end by demonstrating why you might even want to do this in the first place. What's the point aside from just a drill that helps your hands? Because it helps you do things like this. And that is this week's quick and dirty drill, the 5-hit pop. Like with all of my drills, I would love it if you tried it out and let me know what you think. Feel free to leave comments below. And until next time, keep on practicing and be well.